Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Black 2 with only version-exclusive Pokemon was a fun team run. Let's follow that up with a classic brutal solo run. Today's the day that we figure out, would I be able to beat Pokemon Emerald with a team of only one Bulbasaur? So Bulbasaur is a grass and poison first form starter from Gen 1. Like most first form starters, its base stats is in the low 300s, with higher special stats than physical stats, although it's not really all that good at anything. Our ability increases the power of our grass moves by 50% when our health is below 1/3, a pretty typical starter ability. One that I infamously constantly forget about and should probably take advantage of more often. By level up, we get some cool moves like Sleep Powder, Razor Leaf, and Leech Seed. Normally I'm a big fan of Leech Seed, but it's a lot more useful in team runs. In solo runs, it's not all that great. Sleep Powder and Razor Leaf rock though. Maybe I could combo them with Growth at level 32. By TM, there isn't really all that much I'm interested in. Sludge Bomb is kinda cool, but it's a physical move in this game. Plus, we're just not gonna fight a whole lot that Poison is good against. I think I'm gonna have to go with mostly level up moves this time. Like always, I'm writing this script as I go through with the challenge, so this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I figure I can win the Pokemon Champion battle since he's a water specialist, but stuff like the Psychic Gym and the Steven Stone fight are just gonna be a nightmare. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Bulbasaur. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So, right off the bat, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Trico with Bulbasaur so that we can do the whole run with it. I name him Mazawa because apparently it's his favorite Pokemon. Bulbasaur is actually my favorite starter. I love Bulbasaur. Our nature is Rash, so more special attack and less special defense. I think that'll turn out fine. Alright, so for the first bit of travel, I'm really trying to rush through. I'm fighting trainers, but I'm not really going out of my way to fight any extra wild Pokemon beyond a few at the start. The first gym is the Rock Gym, and I'd be shocked if we have any trouble there at all. Yeah, the Nosepass isn't double weak to grass like the Geodudes are, but it shouldn't be an issue. We should still win just fine. As soon as that fight is over, we can get a Miracle Seed, so let's get it done. Yeah, that's what I thought. We didn't even take a single hit the entire fight. Couldn't have been easier. How nice is it to have an easy Roxanne fight in an Emerald run? Normally, she is brutal. Alright, well next we have a little bit of travel to the fighting gym, but I'm not really sure how that one's gonna go. I figure that if we don't have Razor Leaf by the time that we get there, then we probably won't win, so I'm gonna make sure I level up enough to get it. Then it might not be too bad. We might need to use Sleep Powder, but it also won't surprise me if we don't. We resist fighting type, so I'm not overly worried about a single heavy hitter messing us up. The rival fight after might be pretty hard because of Kabuskin with Ember, but I could still see Sleep Powder saving us there. Well, would you look at that? Razor Leaf did indeed make the fighting gym pretty easy. We did take a few Vital Throws early, but we resisted it, so it wasn't too bad. How will the rival fight go, though? Well, the rival fight went okay, but we still had awful luck. We used Sleep Powder on Kabuskin twice, and each time it woke up the very next turn, so there was no point in us using it. We did exactly enough for a 3-shot, and only crit on the one that didn't need to crit, so we probably had the worst luck we could have without actually getting crit in return. I'm just happy she used Focus Energy, because 2 Embers would have been the worst. Alright, well, we've had way too smooth of sailing, and I think it's time we hit some rough waters. We have the Electro Gym coming up, and I just can't see us getting through that without getting paralyzed. I could hold a Cherry Berry, but I've actually been holding a Miracle Seed for the last little while, and it would suck not getting to use that anymore. Then again, this is Gen 3, so it's only giving us 10% more grass damage. It's not a huge deal. I just know that we won't be able to one-shot Magneton, and it's going to paralyze us for sure. I'm going to fight every trainer in the area for levels, then give it a try and just see what happens. Also, just as a reminder, I have a Patreon where you can watch all these challenges very early. Maybe one day in the future I'll make it so there's all different kinds of tiers with different bonuses and stuff, but for right now, you can just pledge $1 a month and get all of these challenges the moment I'm done editing them. So usually, more than a week early, as well as getting to vote in monthly polls to decide what challenge I'm doing next. They're just easy little things that I can do to thank you for supporting me and the show. I appreciate it. Alright, so first up is Voltorb, who's faster than us and hardly hurts us with Spark as we one-shot him. Not sure why he didn't just do Sonic Boom. Maybe he wanted to try and paralyze us? Next is Electrike, who is just a one-shot, but third is Magneton, and as expected, he paralyzes us right away. I probably should have used Sleep Powder first instead. Now, although our Razor Leaves are doing okay damage, we weren't critting, and he ended up healing partway through the fight. The weird thing is that sometimes he would use Sonic Boom, but often he wasted time with stuff like Supersonic or electric moves that hurt a lot less than Sonic Boom. If he just used Sonic Boom every turn, then we would have fainted for sure, but we took him out with a bit of health left. Last is Magnetric, and we easily could have lost if he didn't start with Howl, or if we were fully paralyzed, but we just hardly squeaked by with victory instead. I really didn't think I was going to win that one on the first try. Now that said, things are for sure about to get way harder. We have the Maxie fight coming up, and that might be hard. Then the Fire Gym, which will for sure be hard. I can see us having to seriously grind before we stand a chance in the Fire Gym. It's already a pretty hard gym on a good day, but we're gonna have to deal with them being super effective against us. I think I'll grab the TM for Secret Power on the way, equip a Silk Scarf for a little bit more damage, and hope that we can beat them with Secret Power and Sleep Powder. Return might be a better idea, but considering Secret Power will be good enough for a good chunk of the game after the Fire Gym, I want to just try leveling up a little bit more first if need be. If I can put off getting Return until later, then I think I will, just because Secret Power is a more interesting move. It's probably a dumb decision, but sometimes you gotta be a little bit less optimal to make the challenge more fun, you know? Plus, Secret Power is not a contact move, and Return is a contact move. That could help us later in the game against certain abilities. You never know. Okay, so first at Maxie is Mighty Enna, so our attack is down the whole fight, weakening our Secret Power. Razor Leaf was almost a one-shot, but he healed up, so he got to bite us before we took him out. Second is Camerupt, and although we got unlucky with missing our first Razor Leaf, we had put him to sleep right away, and he never woke up, so we just hardly two-shot him. Last is Zubat, but we quickly overpowered him with Secret Power. Well, that went well, but even a couple levels lower, and I bet we wouldn't have been able to two-shot Camerupt. The Fire Gym is gonna be awful, isn't it? Okay, I am super proud of how the Fire Gym battle went. I decided I would stick to the Miracle Seed and put Numel to sleep at the start, since it could hardly hurt us with Magnitude, and I just wanted to buy time. After a bunch of tries where we missed Sleep Powder right away, we had this one where I got to build up 6 growths without taking too much damage, and then we just swept most of our team with Razor Leaf. The Torkoal at the end wasn't a one-shot, and healed tons of times with Hyper Potions, and my heart dropped when we missed one of our Razor Leaves, but in the end, we scored the hits that we needed to take her out without her waking up. I can't believe I didn't have to grind for that. Let's go take out the normal gym next. That shouldn't be too bad. But on our way there, I took the Root Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone asks anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Normal gym time. First is Spinda, and I lost a bunch of tries to getting confused off this guy. This time we put him to sleep and got 3 growths in before he woke up and confused us. Then we hit ourselves. He used Teeter Dance again for no reason. We missed a Sleep Powder. He used Teeter Dance yet again. We snapped out of our confusion to put him to sleep. Then we got in another growth before taking him out. What a weird way to start the fight. Vigoroth was faster than us, but didn't crit his slash, so we didn't get hurt too much before we took him out. And third was Linoone, who used Belly Drum to lose half of its health as we Razor Leafed to take him down. Last is Slacking, though, who outsped us and crit Facade to instantly take us out. Man, I really think we could have won that if he didn't crit. I don't like that he's faster than us, though. That makes things a lot harder. Several tries later, we had to put up with the horrible luck of Spinda, and we just ended up losing again, because this time Linoone hit us so our health was low enough that Facade didn't need to crit to make us faint. You know, I thought this gym would be easy, but I actually do think I have to level up a little bit. Being slower than most of his team is causing way too many problems. Okay, so after getting to level 45 and failing once due to missing our 95 accuracy Razor Leaf, and another time due to being crit by a random Facade, we won on the third try when we got 3 growths in. Linoone used Belly Drum again, so we didn't take much damage getting to Slacking, and he used Yawn instead of attacking, so we just got to hit 2 Razor Leaves to win. That took so much longer than I expected for a normally easy gym. Sorry, I just had to go close the window because someone's just repeatedly doing mini honks on their horn outside. Oh, fun neighborhood. Now, we may have done well in the fire gym and gotten through the normal gym after not too many tries, but we have the flying gym coming up, and that's going to be brutal. Altaria and Skarmory both double resist grass, and we're weak to flying type, so I'm thinking that we just have to hope growth and sleep powder can save us. I'll fight a lot of trainers on my way. I figure the rival fight should at least be easy. I mean, when isn't it? Okay, well, the rival fight was easy, but this time it was extra easy thanks to it raining, so fire isn't as dangerous. We just used growth a bunch and then spammed Razor Leaf until we won, nothing too special. How is the flying gym gonna go, though? If we don't use growth 6 times, I'm not sure we can beat Skarmory. Okay, flying gym time, and right away we have a weird start where we put Swablu to sleep, and she instantly switches to Pelipper while we're using growth. She didn't do that on my last 3 failed tries, but hey, that's fine. Pelipper is who I want to fight anyway. It wastes most of its time using Protect, so we just put it to sleep and get all 6 of our growths in before we take it out. She sent Swablu back in, and it's awake now thanks to its ability where it shakes off status afflictions while switching, but we still just one-shot it with our now powered-up Razor Leaf. Tropius is next, so I put it to sleep and decide to just use Secret Power since it double resists grass anyway. It didn't do much though, so I tried Razor Leaf, and it did a bit more. She stayed asleep, so we just finished her off. Next is Altaria, and this thing is really dangerous, so I put it to sleep, just for it to end up switching to Skarmory as we landed a critical Razor Leaf to one-shot it. Back out to Altaria, and we put it back to sleep, again it has that ability, and we start spamming Razor Leaves. We actually missed one early on, and eventually she woke up and used 2 Dragon Dances before we could put her back to sleep. Now, I was worried that I'd lose because she had healed up with a Hyper Potion, and she could absolutely one-shot us with Aerial Ace if she woke up. But she ended up staying asleep for what must have been the max amount of turns, so we actually got the win. We got lucky that she stayed asleep for so long, but then again, we got super unlucky for one Razor Leaf to miss in the first place and to not land a crit after all of those hits, so I don't know, maybe it equals out. Alright, we're on the road again, and things are about to get way harder. We have Maxie and the Psychic Gym coming up. Maxie has both a Crobat and Camerupt that are going to give us issues. Then there's the Psychic Gym that's always brutal in solo runs, but it'll be especially brutal this time because we're part poison. Yeah, we're super effective against 3 of the 4 Pokemon, and Razor Leaf does hit both opponents, but what does that matter? Even if we use Sleep Powder, whoever we didn't put to sleep can just hit us with Psychic and probably one-shot us. I think I'm gonna have to rare candy up a simply absurd amount before I can win that fight. But, you know, we'll find out when we get there. Wish me luck, cause I'm gonna need it. Okay, well, first try at Maxie, and we had a perfect fight with Mightyena, where it just missed its only move, we got 4 growths in and took it out, but then Crobat came out, outsped us, and one-shot us with a critical Air Cutter. Okay, I can't see us winning this until we're a bit faster, but Mightyena has Scary Face, and that isn't gonna miss every single time. This might take a while. I'm gonna crack out the rare candies. Effort values are maxed out anyway. First try at level 55, and this time against Mightyena, I just did 2 growths because I wanted to skip ahead to Crobat and see if we're faster. We weren't, but I thought I stood a chance when he confused us instead of hitting Air Cutter. Nope, we hit ourselves twice in a row while he cut us down in a couple of hits. Okay, well, him not using Air Cutter every time does give me hope, although Confusion adds some real randomness to the fight. This might be possible. Let me give it a few tries before I consider leveling up more. Okay, so after quite a few tries, we got 3 growths and managed to put Crobat to sleep the moment he came out. We had to hit roughly 1,000,000 Razor Leaves as he kept healing, but we lucked out and never actually hit ourselves in confusion despite being confused twice. We did lose some health before he went down, but we didn't hit ourselves against Camerupt either, so we one-shot him. Alright, it's time to get stuck for a very long time against the Psychic Gym. I don't see any way that that won't be hard. So we get to the Psychic Gym at level 57. On the first round, we do almost no damage to their team with Razor Leaf. Then we take some damage from Earthquake. Then obviously go down to Psychic right after. I mean, is this even worth trying below level 70? I guess I'll try level 65 just to see what happens, but like, I can't see it being anything but a disaster. I think we can't win this until we're level 80, to be honest. Level 65! Well, this time we almost made Claydol faint, but we still went down from Psychic in the second round. Yeah, my prediction of 80 is feeling pretty accurate right now. Well, We got farther at level 70, but it's only because Xatu used Sunny Day for no reason. We took out Clay Doll, but we still just went down to Psychic shortly after. Level 75, and we crit Clay Doll to take him out early, but now Xatu and Lunatone are both using Calm Mind, weakening our moves and making their Psychics even stronger. Man, we're almost level 80, and I'm starting to think we won't win. Okay, we're level 80, and although we're still losing, it's starting to look like by level 85, we might be able to make Xatu faint with just one more Razor Leaf. On this run, we got confused and hit ourselves near the end, but that's not going to happen every time. I really do think we can win this soon. Really doubt that we need to be higher than level 90, so let's try 85 a few times. Oh my god, we finally did it. We're level 85, and we totally fluked our way through the fight. We kept dropping Clay Doll to red health so that he would use Hyper Potion. Then a crit on Xatu on the second round dropped them both to red health at the same time. They only had one Hyper Potion left, and because they used it on Clay Doll instead of Xatu, we ended up taking out Xatu before it ever hit us. All it got to do was use Sunny Day. Then Lunatone and Soul Rock came out, Razor Leaf one-shot the Soul Rock, so I never had to worry about a fire move. We actually won. We had to nearly double our level to do it, but I'm happy we won. Okay, that insane fight is done. I figure we're gonna have an easy time getting to the Elite Four. We got Archie, the Water Gym, and Wally. So 2 water trainers, and then a usually easy Wally fight. Yeah, Archie has a Crobat, and that's a tough Pokemon for a grass type to fight, but we're such a high level that I can't see it being a real issue. Let's just breeze our way through and get to the Elite Four. Well, the Archie fight was weird. Crobat kept using Super Potions, despite still having tons of health left. Then we randomly crit a secret power to take him out early. I mean, we were never in any real danger either way, but that isn't really how I thought it was gonna go. The Water Gym was obviously pretty easy. I mean, how could it not be? We just used Growth a few times to make sure that the Kingdra was a one-shot, and then we swept him. Now, Wally was a bit more dangerous because he opens with Altaria, but he switches if we put him to sleep, so we got extra growths in and was able to take out his whole team pretty easily. If he had just used flying moves every turn, then we would have gotten hit pretty hard, but he wasted a lot of time, so it was fine. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our stats. Well, our stats aren't awful, so I think that we'll be able to win before level 100, but I don't think it'll be easy. I'm confident about beating Wallace himself, but I think that Glacia and Drake might be pretty difficult. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Dark Trainer Sydney. Now, I had to restart this fight right at the start about 1,000,000 times because we kept getting sand attacked if I went for too many growths. So in this one, I just did 2 and then hit Razor Leaf to take him out. Second was Shift Tree, and right away I was worried because he kept using Double Team, so we kept missing. Eventually, we took him out with 1 Razor Leaf, but he hit Torment, so we can't use the same move twice in a row for the rest of the fight. Absol went down just fine to Sleep Powder, followed by Razor Leaf, and we missed our Sleep Powder on the Cacturn right after, so we lost speed to Cotton Spore. We got hurt just a little bit before we took him out. Last is Crawdaunt, but all he did was use Swords Dance, then fall asleep, so we took him out just fine. That probably looked easy, but it actually took 8 tries just thanks to terrible luck with Sand Attack at the start. I figure Phoebe is going to be worse, though. Second is Ghost Trainer Phoebe. Now, this one took a few tries because sometimes Dusclops would wake up early and hit Curse, but on the 4th try, we really easily got 3 growths in and then swept our entire team with Razor Leaf, no issue. Do you think Glacia's ice types will be a problem, or are we going to sweep them too? Third is Ice Trainer Glacia. Everything went fine. We put our first Pokemon to sleep, we used 2 growths, she woke up, used Hail, we put her to sleep again, another 2 growths, and then we swept our whole team with Razor Leaf. Now, can we get away with that on Drake? He resists grass pretty hard, but Shelgon at the start likes to stall, so it might be pretty easy to build up our growths. I could see this going either way. Fourth is Dragon Trainer Drake. Well, this was a disaster. After having to try a bunch of times due to getting hit by Rock Tomb tons, we get this try where we get all 6 growths in against Shelgon, and we only get hit by Rock Tomb once, and we still end up being slower than most of his team. We even got burned early on to take tons of damage, and even with 6 growths, we still only took out half of Altaria's health. That makes me think we really won't do well against Salamence. I'm gonna bump us up all the way to level 95. maybe then we'll be faster regardless, but I'm starting to think that this might just be a very hard fight in general. Okay, after a handful of tries, we finally got this one where Shelgon used Double Edge instead of Rock Tomb, so we have all of our speed, and we got our 6 growths. As Altaria came out, we put it to sleep, and it switched to Salamence, so we hit it with a free Razor Leaf. That is perfect because we're faster, so we hit another Razor Leaf to make it faint before it could attack us. Back to Altaria, who we just put to sleep, and he switched to Kingdra, who goes down to 1 Razor Leaf. Lestes is Altaria yet again, and we put it to sleep and hit Razor Leaf, but it ends up waking up fast and using Dragon Dance. Because of that, he became faster and did massive damage with Aerial Ace, but thankfully, we hit our Razor Leaf next to take him out. Finally, a win! Well, this can't be that hard, right? Maybe like 3 or 4 growths and we can sweep him? Wait, did I talk about Flygon at all in that fight? I don't think I talked about Flygon. I'm like 99% sure Flygon was a one-shot because his part ground. It was probably so uneventful I forgot to write it down. Finally, Pokemon Champion Wallace. Okay, this one took a ton of tries right at the start because I really wanted to get all the growths in at Wailord, but it always ended up hitting Blizzard, so eventually I decided to just put him to sleep, get 2 growths in, then use Razor Leaf. Annoyingly enough, we missed the first one and he stayed asleep, so we totally could have gotten a 3rd one in, but whatever, we take him out. Melodica's second, so I put him to sleep and go for 2 more growths, but he wakes up after the second one and hits Ice Beam to freeze us. I accidentally clicked Growth instead of Razor Leaf, and we actually instantly defrosted, so we got our 5th growth in that I wasn't planning on getting. We got hit by another Ice Beam to go to low health, then we hit Razor Leaf for a one-shot. I have no idea how this is gonna go. Tentacruel is thankfully a one-shot with Razor Leaf, even without a crit. I kinda wonder if the 5th growth is what did that. Whiscash is double weak to grass, so of course it was a one-shot. Water Onyx was also a one-shot. And last is Ludicolo, who is of course another one-shot. I mean, I thought it was more or less gonna go that way, but getting frozen and instantly defrosting isn't exactly what I was banking on happening. With that victory, we get into the Hall of Fame and win the run, but you know it's not over yet. Gen 3 has a post-game fight with Steven Stone. We're already nearly level 96 going into the post-game fight that I'm not sure that I can win, so I think I'll just top up to level 100. I'm sure some of his team will be easy, but the fact that he opens up with Skarmory that double resists us, and his ace is a pseudo-legendary that also resists us and is super effective against us, makes me think that there's a pretty solid chance we can't win. I'll give it a try though. Okay, literally the first try, and not only did we put him to sleep and get tons of growths in, but he woke up and only used spikes. Then we put him right back to sleep, got the rest of our growths in, and 2 hits of Razor Leaf took him out. I really don't like how little damage it did though. If we were a single level lower, then I don't think that would have been a 2-shot. Next is Armaldo, who was a 1-shot, then Claydol, who's obviously a 1-shot, but then it was Metagross and I was worried. We missed Sleep Powder right away, we lost a ton of health to Psychic, but we hit our next Sleep Powder. Then we used Razor Leaf and we got a 1-shot, although I'm pretty sure that's our Overgrowth kicking in. We probably wouldn't have gotten it if we had done it right away. But hey, maybe that Overgrowth will help us. Aggron next is a 1-shot, and last is Cradily, who, believe it or not, is also a 1-shot. I think that Overgrowth actually just made it easier. That was a first try. Well, that actually went really well. I thought it was gonna go so much worse. Yeah, the Psychic Gym was horrible, but it always is. I'm still shocked that most of the run went so well. I really hope you guys like that run. Next week's Pokemon Challenge should be up next Saturday, like usual, with Pokemon Black, with only 1 Clink. It looks really hard on paper, but it's also a pretty fun Pokemon, so I'm looking forward to it. I was gonna do the Patreon request one next week, but I'm doing it the week after instead. A time constraint thing, don't worry about it, it's still coming out. As always, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comments, in the challenge request section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Now, as much as I would love to go forever with my outro, I have guests over, so I don't want to take super long, but you know, work's gotta get done. I can't just not do my voiceover and not do my video, because that's my job. Guests over does not mean you get to pause your job. So here I am. This run was really fun. I actually, I was kind of dreading it a little bit when I planned to do Pokemon Emerald with Hoenn Bulbasaur. Mostly because I thought stuff like the Psychic Gym was going to be horrible, and like, it was, but it didn't take an unreal amount of tries, at least. I thought it was going to be one of those things where I level up a ton and I have to try a million times. Yeah, I tried like a handful of times on some of those runs where I thought I kind of stood a chance, but grand total, it wasn't so bad, really. And yeah, some boss battles, like, I could see that a victory was possible, but I had to try a bunch of times because they weren't staying asleep very long, or there was like confusion or something, or I miss a Razor Leaf, a 95 accuracy move at the worst time. That always sucks when it happens. But overall, it really wasn't horrible. I thought it was gonna be a lot worse. That was actually a really fun, well-paced run. Yeah, either than the Psychic Gym. Obviously, there's nothing well-paced about the Psychic Gym, but that's where rare candies keep you from having an aneurysm. Looking forward to that Clink run, though. I've already started on it, and it's actually really fun. Clink is a really fun Pokemon. Limited moveset, but fun moves. Like, Gear Grind is a really fun move, especially once you learn Shift Gear. And in Gen 5, you can get your hands on a lot of very good held items pretty easily. Like, one that I probably should have used in a lot more runs because it's a great held item, is Scope Lens, where it increases your crit chance by 1 stage, which literally doubles it. If I'm understanding the math right, that like doubles your crit chance. So if you're doubling your crit chance and you're using Gear Grind, which is a move that hits twice, then that's like 4 times better crit chance, grand total. I'm not great at how the math breaks down on that. I know it's not like 1 in 4. It's not that, because the chance is not actually 1. You could get 2 crits, even. I guess it's like 1 in 8 twice. I think that's what it is in Gen 5, at least. Because I think a crit in Gen 5 is 1 in 16? Is that right? I think that's right. I looked it up a few days ago, and I'm already blanking on it. But regardless, Clink ends up being very, very fun. So look forward to that video. I'm going to be doing the voiceover for that one in 3 days? It's Friday right now. It is the 14th of March when I'm doing this voiceover. And I'm probably doing the voiceover for the Clink run on Monday. Yeah, that sounds about right. Monday, maybe Tuesday, something like that. And then the second I get it edited is the second it goes up on Patreon. So like somewhere between like 12 and 8 days early tends to be how early you get these challenges on Patreon. And the reason for that is that, you know, for years, I like to always stay 1 challenge ahead so that like if something happens, I would still have that next video like banked and ready to go up by the beginning of the week. But now that I'm like trying to find rewards for my Patreon, I realized like, oh, well, if I always have that one done like a few days early because I have it banked, then there's no harm in just putting it up on Patreon early. That's like an easy little thing I can give people. So, yeah, that's what that's all about. It's just an easy little thing that I can give you guys. I hope that you guys enjoy it. I should probably wrap this up because I need to go hop in the shower, get all cleaned up, get a little bit of stuff done, and then me and my guests are watching some Maple Leaf Pro. They're putting on their 2nd ever show tonight. It's a Canadian pro wrestling company. I'm quite excited for the episode. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.